Hi there, YouTube. Today is the May 29th, 2016, and I've been debating with myself some time about the guns and what is the best defense. So I'll tell you my conclusion. My conclusion is that the best defense is the pure and sane mind. This is the best defense because even if you're armed and if your mind is full of cracks and parasites, then it's very, very possible that that gun might be used against you as a suicide weapon or as a weapon in anger for something what shouldn't be done, something hastily done, what normally happens. So this is why when I'm thinking about guns, this is why my first conclusion is that actually it's a bad thing to own a gun. And I always remember this conversation from back in the day when I was a tour guide. I was talking with one very normal guy, bus driver, German bus driver, who was with a whole group of tourists, of course. I was leading. And he said, those black moments when everything is dark and you see no exit. And I remember that, especially when I was a teenager. I had these phases when I was 16, 17, and Joy Division, Bauhaus phase, and so on. And he said, in those moments you can do something foolish, and I completely understood him. And this is essentially that. But then I started to think, well, this is impolitically correct to say, but when I was 16, when shit hit the fan in Croatia, when war started, it was very brutal because you had pretty much two groups of people. You had one group of people with guns and another group of people without guns, and these with guns been killing those without guns like a fish in a barrel. My father's village was attacked with 10 tanks and 300 Serbian soldiers, and they had I've been told 60 Kalashnikovs that was left by the Croatian army when they withdrew the day before the attack. Of course, everything organized. And nobody was firing back anything. And, before that, they didn't have even that. And in the first phase of the war, they've been just entering villages and just killing people, whole villages without a single rifle, because it was almost impossible for Croats to own a rifle in Yugoslavia. Unless you've been a member of Communist Party, it was impossible. So, and then when the war started, it was just an onslaught. And then same thing repeated in Bosnia in 1992, again. Armed Serbs and armed others, just an onslaught. So, but this was in the first phase. So, that memory woke up everybody, and everybody realized, and it was very big political plus for the nationalist government. Okay, now Croats are owning guns and so on. So, we live now in a world where to suggest a German man not to own a gun is something very irresponsible. And this is something that frightens me about the two big Khmer families just moved in the rooms in front of my room. I'm here in the drying shed area, talking English. So he's now trying to figure it out what's going on. And with this, just a little digression, with these big families, it's always 50-50%. You only need one person to start throwing down Chokbo and Farang and Pakao and so on, racist comments, and then you're going to have whole families joining in and doing the whole thing together. So it's better to be away from them, inside the room. I shit you not, guys. This is simply culture for them. It's not a racism. It's simply the way how they just communicate and see things, really. These people never been in foreign countries. They think that foreigners can't understand anything. So back to the guns. So speaking about foreigners, in 2015, 1 million Muslim men in the fighting age between 18 and 35 entered Germany. And German nation, as a nation, has 6 million men between age 18 and 35, the fighting age. This is the this is what German nation has as a reservoir of their own people. So 1 million of people who are essentially aggressive towards the German culture, the German people, enter the Germany. So that leads that maybe 5 years from now on, the shared power of Muslim men, there are simply going to be more Muslim men in 5 years in Germany. If this continues, and it's going on, it's not stopping, then German men. So that means only one thing. Okay, that means, guys, you heard that history repeats because people don't learn anything from it. Well, you are also, if you're watching this, if you're German, you're a slave of your history. Same as Croats been marginalized after the Second World War in Croatia and Yugoslavia. It was equal to say that you are Nazi when you've been saying that you are Croat. Okay, I remember that. And same thing is going on there, raping you with this guilt program, just to render you impotent, while these guys are virtually raping you. So it's in your case, it's not question if it's. If you know maybe like 1 or 2 pages out of the 3 pages of the world history, then you know that Islam was spreading with the sword, and they've been always brutal wherever they came, including Kosovo, including including Turkey when it was, including Bosnia when war was going on there in the 15th century and so on, and Vienna and all these historical things are now repeating in Syria. Same beheading, same raping, so this is nothing new, nothing what is not repeating, it is the inevitable. And this is your future. You're going to have a war with Muslims in your country, that's for sure. And I know that, and I know how German people are thinking. You have many pluses, but you have one minus. You've been very well protected in a way by your state and the high standard and whole social security system. So you can't possibly conceive that something might actually deeply go wrong, especially young Germans who didn't witness the change of the system, what I experienced in a way in my generation during the 1990s. Everything can change extremely quickly, and things are changing extremely quickly. That means, in short, only one conclusion: shit will hit the fan. And then, when shit hits the fan, if you're not armed, you are fart in the wind, you are shit in the sea, and you are piss in the river. You are something which will not live very long time. That's how it goes. So what is the conclusion? Conclusion is the third thing. It's really something that you have to figure it out intuitively for yourself in a given moment. What is the best solution for yourself? Russians, they say, if you have a rifle on a wall, sooner or later gonna use it. We also say who places the sword perishes by the sword. This is all fact, but people also get killed even if they're not armed. And if you bother to go through the historic footages from the Croatia and Bosnia, from the first phases of the war, you will see this footage from Bosnia. And a Serbian officer Serbian soldier is killing a guy, Muslim, from behind, from a scorpion for a couple of hundred Deutschmarks. A journalist paid him. This is how it looks like. Nothing is stopping them. Understand? If you're unarmed, that doesn't mean that those who have arms that they gonna be sweethearted by your decision that you disarm yourself when you had the possibility to do otherwise. So I'm sorry, but this is it. But again, it's really difficult decision because in my best judgment, in my best intuition, most of the people who are owning guns shouldn't be owning them. And I'm aware of the tragic situations, what's happening when people are misusing them and using them in anger while they're under influence of drugs and alcohol and so on. So I can only finish with my first thing I said at the beginning. That really the best defense is the pure mind, and for the pure mind, you know how much theory about the cracks and parasites and stuff in Malanga, so I'm not going to repeat that. And I uploaded one footage from Bangkok today. It couldn't be uploaded back in 2014 because length was back then too long for YouTube. So another thing, apart from this exercise for the purification of the mind, would be the usage of ibogaine. And I was talking about ibogaine earlier on, and I would definitely suggest to everybody, including myself, that in the future we go through the ibogaine process, which is the holy ritual, which takes about 3 days. You're supposed to take 1 gram of ibogaine for 50 kilos of your body weight, and then first day, the story goes that you have a, quote to quote, feeling that you are touching the God and that you are touching the hell, and you are reliving the situations when you hurted somebody else from the perspective of the person who was hurted by you. And that's why I think it's extremely important that people use this holy plant. I think it's with the marijuana, another holy plant, aboga, from West Africa, because what better spiritual exercise could be for reflecting your mind, to see your mistakes, than really to face yourself with very vivid images when you've done bad deeds to others from the perspective of others. Of course, it's going to be painful, but this is the justified pain. Don't forget what Carl Jung said, that the root of all mental illnesses is the avoidance of the justified pain. So many times to heal, when we want to heal ourselves, we have to go through the justified pain. And I know that I'm setting up high standards for individuals if they want to have weaponry, but you see, you really have to be responsible when you have in possession something what can easily kill so many people very fast. It's incredible weapon. It's incredible power. And it should be coming with a great responsibility. And I know that many kids in Europe are owning automatic guns and stuff like that. And but I'm also a kid who grew up in Croatia, and I know how many suicides happened with the guns in my generation. I'm going through memories of those 2 kids volunteers in a war. They've been like 16-year-olds in 1991 when I was 16-year-old. And then when all these army barracks collapsed and the Yugoslav army let the civilians to pick up arms, and people had loads of it back then. And they've been in the army, and they've been fighting, and they've been in a bad mood. And one kid, out of the fun, fired. He thought the gun is empty. The usual mistake. Yeah, he thought the gun is empty. He fired in his best friend's head. This happened in the Rijeka center in the old town in 1991 during the war. And he killed his friend, and then he pointed gun to his head, and he killed himself. This is the story I heard. This is the story that everybody been talking about, and it was a real story, which is a tragic moment from the war. One of those tragic moments. My neighbor, Sandro, who died in the motor accident, and he was very strong, very beautiful, smart guy. His father, who was in the war, after the war, was just drinking alcohol, schnapps, watching at the chimney with his sniper between his legs, and then he shot himself. So I'm coming from this kind of experience, and I know what guns can do to family and to the individuals. So when I'm advising them that it might be smart for you to arm themselves, that means that situations, of course, in maybe short term, maybe medium term, dangerous for you. And, take your answer for yourself from here. As you can see, it's not an easy answer to make. Thank you for watching. If you like, please subscribe. This was a little bit tough for me, difficult one. I hope sound was okay. I'm still using the same mobile phone, and that's all. Take care.